going to start across the top of your screens that lets you know that we are recording this session. I put everything that I teach onto a YouTube channel that I run myself, so you guys will get an idea. I'm going to use that as the example for how we'll look at the back end and everything like that. But today is going to be a nice 100 level look, just the basics on getting started and how to start putting stuff onto a YouTube channel related to your brand. Not going to go too hard into content or anything like that in this discussion today. What we are going to talk about, like I said, is how you want to set up this channel, and more importantly, keeping in mind, if you've been in any of my other classes, or I'm sure a lot of my other colleagues talk about stuff like this too, just like Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or anything else that is a part of your marketing strategy. YouTube is something that very much has to be built in and managed as a part of your strategy, the same way any other asset you are using for personal or business marketing. With that being said, just a quick housekeeping tip. I'm going to remind everybody, out of courtesy of everybody in the class, please remember to keep your microphone muted at all times. I will take questions at the end of the class. If you want to type something into the chat so you don't forget, feel free to do that. I will check the chat at the end of the session as well and answer any questions that we have there. I want to try and get everybody out of here in under an hour, ideally 45 minutes. So let's go ahead and hop to it. Before I get into the real nuts and bolts, I just want to talk about some of the importance in regards to YouTube just as an audience, especially some stats that you can think about that what I will show you are from the beginning of last year. And obviously we have seen huge spikes across the board with social media usage, and YouTube is one of the largest, and actually the largest partner, we can call them, that we can use in the online space in regards to advertising, both who you are as a agent and that curated personality that is a part of the brand that you advertise, as well as all of the business opportunities and all of the knowledge that you can convey to your audience that allows you to remain the knowledge base, for a lack of a better term, and a source of information to all of the clients that keeps them coming back to you whenever they have these kind of questions, or at least keeps them tuning in to be maintained on both stuff happening that affects them in their community, as well as stuff that affects the market and possibly their own home. So they'll be able to you build in those kind of call to actions that allows them to kind of think about reaching out to you. So let's look at some quick stats for YouTube, just to get an idea of what we're looking at. So if this worked, everybody should see big slide says YouTube stats for 2020. YouTube has 2 billion logged in monthly users. That is a big number to wrap your head around. Something to think about is, they were at just a little less than 2 years ago at 1.8 billion users logged in monthly, meaning, individual people that are using this channel at any point in a month period, a calendar month period. That's a 200,000 individual user per month growth in a little less than 2 years, which is phenomenal. The fastest growing space that has ever existed in social media is Instagram. It's a young channel that is getting older and its users are getting older, but YouTube's been around as a video platform for a long time now and kind of established itself as the king in that space. And as a result, they have a staggering number of users every month. 70% of people watch what is, what they watch on YouTube tends to be guided by the algorithms that recommend videos to users and their profile. I'll kind of go over a quick layout of YouTube in a sec when I get to that, but what this really means and what you're going to hear me talk a lot about, and I'm sure what you again hear my colleagues and me and any of my other classes talk about, is the consistency in your marketing, and anything that you are using, anything that you want to dive into, things like Instagram and Facebook, for example, because, you know, if you have any commercial aspirations, you got to be on channels like that, especially in today's space where everything's operating online. But YouTube is one, just like either of those channels. If you're not going to be operating them consistently, then don't promote and use them, because there's nothing more harmful to your brand than a channel that is stagnant and that doesn't really get updated all too often or not on some kind of a regular schedule. So you want to keep in mind, again, this should be something that is planned out as a part of your marketing strategy, looked over at the course of, you know, even if you're just looking at the course of a quarter, and break down what are you going to do over the course of 3 months to maintain this channel the same way you do your Instagram and your Facebook or your LinkedIn, etc. Because the way these things operate on the back end to recommend stuff to other users, it's literally like a web. You know, the internet, pun intended, and then the web is all built to run on things like SEO, which is search engine optimization, and things like meta tagging and keywords that will attract your channel along with the other ones and allow you to gain a larger footprint online. So usage of these channels is important. This is just a really cool Pew Research Center grab that we found that is conducted from January to February of 2019. So obviously, TikTok has become a huge player in the last few days as far as usage goes. I don't know how much commercial relevance there is there just yet, but things like Instagram have also seen a huge spike. But what you really take away from this is, of online platforms used by adults, at least in the States, almost 3 out of 4 adults are using YouTube at some point online in their interactions. That's a great number, and it's a great reminder of, you know, again, if you're consistent and on these platforms, you can grow an audience just like you will anywhere else if you put in the effort. Go ahead and jump into YouTube itself. Quick little breakdown of YouTube. Obviously, the homepage is your landing page where immediately as a user, any consumer has a profile that is created through Google. I'm going to go through the Google account in a, oh, wait, did it not share?
What you are.
Okay, let me fix that. Thank you for catching that. Let's come back. Everybody should see me again, yeah? Let's go. There we are. YouTube. So on YouTube, what we're looking at is the landing page. Any consumer, anybody with a Gmail account, and I'm going to go into the accounts in more detail in just a moment. But what you
your photo. Sorry.
You just see my photo? Darn. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
I see your
Screen your photo.
I can see your landing page.
Let me try this one more time. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag, so I will pause, allow everybody to take a sip of water.
Okay, I see it. I think.
Awesome. All right. Moving onward. Landing page. This, any consumer, like I said, I'm going to get into the individual accounts, but anybody with a Gmail account has a YouTube channel. And anybody that is using YouTube with an account is going to be tracked through that system, so the algorithm can recommend videos it thinks that user's going to like based on what they're using, as well as all of the fun tags that are proprietary parts of that algorithm that, you know, build videos in there. And again, the more consistent you are and the more relevant the content is to the people that you're trying to target, the better those things will grow. But what you see here is you've got a menu bar on the left. Consumers, again, can subscribe to channels, all kinds of different YouTube platforms that are available for specific things. They can like videos that will show up on lists. They can create their own playlists. There is a history available. And then there's also 3 main sections, which are subscriptions that users have to channels. Like you can subscribe to NPR Music or an individual agent's channel, or, you know, any kind of things. You can also look at trending videos, which are things that are going viral at any given point. And then the home feed. What we're going to look at here are the actual YouTube accounts and the YouTube channel. So here is my channel, and the first things that you notice is we've got hot links that link out to everything that I manage. So for my all intents and purposes, let's say I don't have a Facebook business page that is up and running just yet. So I don't have it linked because
Your voice is frozen.
No sound.
I'm not. Give me 1 sec. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry about that. It's sometimes this time of day with a lot of people on the internet, it can get a little halty. Do keep letting me know if I end up cutting out. So I'm going to rewind maybe just a couple of steps. Let's say, I only have linked the stuff that is active. I'm sure I've mentioned that a couple of times. And of course, you want to make sure your website is linked here because that is the hub of everything that you're operating. I have this links to my InTouch site where everybody gets dumped into my CRM. You can sign up for, alerts, find community information, all of that jazz is on my website. And all of the videos, if I were an agent, you would always remind people that, the most up-to-date information, newsletters, community information, things like that, that should be built onto your website, always guide people there. All of the marketing you do, I like to say, should be cyclical and should be guiding everybody back towards your website, or at least hubbing and trying to connect to any other source or as many sources as possible. And again, a YouTube page is a great thing because it can link right to your page and you can constantly update content on it that can be easily re-uploaded to like things like Instagram TV to make sure that all of your audiences are getting that. And then using YouTube, you can add videos or embed videos into things like email blasts, newsletters, and you can use your channel to put private videos up that would only be available to people, like, for example, getting the newsletter. All kinds of great things can be harvested out of this as a marketing asset for, again, the greater emphasis on advertising your brand and your business and having relevant and real information for your sphere and audience at large. So how do you set all of this up? So I'm going to go ahead and sign out of my account, and you can kind of see what the sign in process is and what we're talking about. So as I said, anyone with a Gmail account has a YouTube account because Google owns YouTube, and that's how the accounts are managed. What we really recommend, and you can transfer a standard account to a brand account, but what you want is what's called a brand account. And the only real differences are much like a business account for Instagram or Facebook, the way that page operates algorithmically with the system happens differently for another business page than it does a consumer account. And you want to always put the emphasis to your audience that or to the systems, I should say, that your account is a business platform and you want to advertise things to a consumer audience. The other big advantage outside of the algorithm systems that are happening are that the branded accounts can manage multiple users. What does that mean? It means that you don't have to have, your email and your Gmail account be the only in and out access for that page. So for example, if you have a team or if you have a marketing individual that's handling things for you, or if you just want to be able to allow, if you're networking with other agents and you want to be able to allow people in and out of that channel and access to the account, you would be able to designate and delegate access to the channel through a brand account. Also, your YouTube channel name is always going to be your name unless you have a brand account. A brand account will allow you the ability to change the name to whatever the brand is. And I've got some screen caps. Again, I'll send all of this stuff in a recap email to you, but you should be looking here. You can see where you can create and manage channels under a brand account and then give that channel a name that is different from your individual consumer account, which is what every default Google, default Gmail account is, unless specifically set up otherwise.
Can you go back and tell us how to actually set this up, though?
Yes, I will get there. But I just want to show some screen caps because I'm not going to go through the entirety. Anyway, what you see here, I'm going to go use another account. So if you wanted to create a new Gmail account to manage this channel, if you wanted to convert an existing one to a brand account, I'll include those instructions. It's in the advanced settings. I'll include that in the recap. If you're creating a new account, the only difference is when you go to create account, instead of for myself, you're creating one to manage my business. I'm going to go ahead and make this just a little bigger, just in case that's hard to see. But again, create account, manage my business. You'll create a username. The big thing to emphasize here is this email address doesn't have to be consumer facing or managed in any given way. You can always forward this to whatever your main email is. The only kinds of notifications you'll get out of this system are things for related to the YouTube channel. If anybody comments, likes, subscribes, again, which is good to know so you can engage with people that are engaging with the channel. But if you would like that information routed to your own system, that can be done. And that's what I would recommend. Unless, again, you wanted to just designate this system to be everything about the channel and that's what you're creating, you can have those notifications, forwarded somewhere, or you can just manage them in the account as it is. But this is where you would create that brand account.
How did you get to this page?
I'm gonna add, just a reminder, let's hold questions like that to the end because this whole session is recorded. But when you are creating a new user account, it is under this create account and to manage my business. Outside of because if you just create a standard account, again, that is a consumer account. What we're looking here is what's called a brand account, which will, as I mentioned, allow you to designate other users into the page, as well as give you the ability to create a user page that is different from your name. So again, if you have, for example, Agent Luxury Group as your name for the team, and your name is Joe Agent, and this way the page, because as you'll see, my YouTube page is just my first and last name because I didn't set up a brand account. And again, I'll send those instructions for how to transfer one. But what now we're going to talk about is actually editing and managing that YouTube page. So I'm going to go ahead and sign back into my account, which is what's being used just to manage my YouTube channel. And there we go. When you sign in to your account, what you're going to see, again, is much like a user, you've got recommended videos from YouTube, your own subscriptions, everything that you can manage right here on your menu bar. What I'm going to look at first is we're going right to the little photo icon. When you create a new account, it'll go through, uploading your personal info and things like that to manage the Google account that is, running the channel. I clicked on, I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is zoomed in again. it clicked on my image right here. If you don't have an image there, you'll probably just see a gray character. And I clicked on manage your Google account. And that's going to take you, again, if you're not, if you're not creating one from scratch, you're going to want to go in here and go into personal info. And again, edit all of the information. You'll put in stuff about the business, much like editing a Facebook business account. You'll add in all of the information that you think is applicable, phone numbers, contact email, which in my case, you'll see on my channel is actually my CB NorCal. So again, consumer facing, none of the Gmail information is ever consumer facing. Underneath the account information, you can get to your actual channel. Now, as I said, you can see I've got a banner image, some links, and then a playlist. You want to always think about the layout of the channel and what you're putting up there. How can you easily group it for your consumers? My consumers are Coldwell Banker agents, and any video that I upload automatically goes into the video tab here created by the consumer. And we're looking at this page currently as a consumer, with the exception of these two buttons. A consumer wouldn't see the customize channel or YouTube studio button. But essentially, when you land on the page by clicking on your channel, you'll be able to view it as any subscriber. So again, you can kind of take off your agent lens and go, okay, is this going to accomplish the goal of advertising my brand and advertising my current business? And is it easy for my consumer to manage? Again, I'm going to go over where we edit all that in just a moment. All of the videos you upload, again, end up on this landing page for videos. The default is to sort by upload date, but a consumer can, again, click and choose to do whatever they'd like. You can create playlists on the back end and add videos to them. Again, we're going to go over that in a minute. Channels that you want to feature. As you can see, if I go back to my homepage, I have linked the Coldwell Banker corporate channel, which has, the commercials and a bunch of the at-home in Northern California stuff and the homes of the weeks and things like that. Think of featured channels much like networking and following people on Twitter or Pinterest, I should say, in the sense that it's not the same kind of one-to-one actual networking the same way an Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn connection happens, and there's all of this information shared across each other's home feeds about it and about the users. This just allows algorithmically on the back end to let the system know that, similar content is happening on similar platform, on these similar channels, and a user that happens to watch something on the Coldwell Banker channel may find, something on my channel relevant if, however, the algorithm, based on their other users, if it turns out, this person's watching a bunch of real estate education videos, it may recommend my channel because all of my stuff is tagged and all of the videos are talking about that kind of thing. That's where, when you think about what's a featured channel doing, it's more or less soft networking on the back end for letting YouTube know what kind of content is relatable to the channel you are trying to create content for. The discussion platform is where public comments can happen and you can post, and I'll show you on the back end where you can create those posts, different kind of things. Like, let's say you were having a Facebook Live event next week for a virtual tour of a vacant house, and you needed to promote that. Well, you would make a post on Instagram about it. You've got your LinkedIn post about it. You can do one on the discussion platform for YouTube, and there's a crawl. I don't know how many of you are using the YouTube app frequently, but there's a crawl, and occasionally if you're subscribing to channels, you'll see them make a post with almost like a flyer or sometimes a photo, or like you all would post things to any social network. It allows the same kind of platforming to happen on this page to cross promote anything happening either on this channel or any of your other platforms. Again, to tie everything together and to make sure a user that's following you on one space knows and can easily follow you on other spaces and eventually end up on your mailing list through your website. The About tab is what it sounds like. It's where you can have a description of what the channel is and who you are. If you click View Email Address, I've got my CB NorCal linked in there. And again, all of my links, Instagram, LinkedIn, website, and some channel stats are available to consumers. Now, once you're in here, how do you make this your own, right? When you click Customize Channel, I will, first thing you want to have and think about is the banner image. Again, let's go to, I was on the About page, so when I clicked Customize Channel, it took me there. Let's go back to the Home and look at the editing of the home channel. So the banner image is something that should be consistent across all forms of your marketing. So like, for example, I use this photo of the Bixby Creek Bridge on my website. It's on my social channels, on my Instagram, and that's, for all intents and purposes, that's my branded image. This is where you'd want to have like a feature, feature a logo, anything that, represents a visual representation of your brand. This is where that should live. In the recap that I include with a bunch of these instructions, there's going to be a link that shows you the actual image editor. And I'm going to go ahead and show you briefly what I'm talking about, because the actual image, so you can upload an image to the library just like you would anything else. You can drag a photo, or you can go find it in your computer, click on Images, and select an image to upload. Or if you already have photos uploaded in your gallery, you can select one. Any image that you choose, it gives you a readout so you can crop and make sure you have the appropriate photo dimensions beforehand to do this best. So that way, as you can see, the layout of that actual Bixby Creek Bridge photo is different. What we were looking at is the desktop version, but if someone views my YouTube channel on their television, they get the whole aspect ratio of that photo blown out. But if you're looking at it on mobile, it's even more condensed to a smaller image. And what you can see here, this is that adjustable crop. And again, I've got a little guide that I will include in the recap that breaks down what you'd want to think about as far as sizing your image, so you can pre-plan what that smallest version in here will look like, and then make sure that everything around it is still framed in a way that doesn't harm the integrity of the image that we're trying to convey. So as you can see, we've framed it in a way that keeps the power of the image that we're trying to capture intact, and it looks good across all three platforms as a result. First thing you're going to see here is a feature content section. This will allow you to do one of two things. You can add a video to feature, which will either autoplay or can be set and chosen to play by the consumer when they land on the channel. Or ideally, you have a welcome video that you've created. I haven't done one just yet for my channel, but you can always shoot one that does two things. That A, conveys who you are as a brand and business, and kind of gives a little teaser of sorts to what you operate, how you operate, and some of the success that you've had, and more importantly, some of the content and community related information that a consumer can get from this channel. Much like your website, it should be much more than just real estate and market related information. A consumer should be able to go to your page and find relevant information about their community. You guys sell homes in their community, so who better for them to find out about what's going on and where they can be, where they should be plugged into and where they should go to, and all kinds of great content you guys can pull together from business to business related meets, or just talking about great locations and what you love about your communities. There's a great opportunity here to condense all of that information and just kind of highlight, this is what my business is about. This is what this channel is about. Here you can learn about who I am, as well as, some relevant information, both about my areas and about the market in my areas that might help you make that final decision to move out to the California coast, which is the, best place ever. Uploads, as I said, are set as the default for this section. You can move something up or down. You can edit a section by clicking on the little pencils. And much like any traditional website editor, if you've used Squarespace or InTouch or any of these kind of systems, you've got a few pre-selected options that you can add in from, some layout, a horizontal or vertical layout to show you a difference. This is the upload section is horizontal. My playlist is vertical. If I added a new playlist, which I will do in just a moment, you will see it pop up next to it versus underneath it, because you can add vertical things next to each other because they're vertical, obviously. If you needed to trash anything, a little trash can will delete it, but there's not a whole lot you're going to do here. If you want to add a new section, same kind of thing. You can choose what type of content we're doing, recent posts, activities. You can have featured channels or subscriptions. You can have playlists. You can have upcoming live content, past live streams, uploads that are happening, whatever you choose to build. Just again, make sure it's the only thing we want to do is make it easy for your consumer. Your channel shouldn't be too busy. It should just be nice and focused on the message we're trying to convey. Featured channels, what I was talking about earlier, you can remove the module if you don't want to do this by clicking remove. If you hit edit, all you would have to do is paste the link to whatever YouTube channel you want to feature. So if I were going to feature Jessica's channel, who's one of my agents in Santa Cruz, I would just grab that channel link, drop it in here, hit add, and done. Now the channel is featured. Easy peasy. You've got two edits that you can make also. I forgot to add on the welcome side. As you can see, there was the returning subscribers. So if someone does subscribe to the channel, you can have them see a different video or landing content than you have for new subscribers and new visitors, people that aren't subscribed to the channel and receiving regular updates. So again, you could have that channel trailer running here and then have your most recent video featured for returning subscribers. Under the video tab, when you're in the edit side, there isn't a lot that happens here outside of making a video listed or unlisted. If a video is unlisted, it will not show up on the channel, but it is still viewable by anybody with the link to the video. A private video is something that is only viewable by the channel owner or anyone that has access to the channel. Playlists, it will take you to a manage section where you can, liked videos are also an option, but I have that, on private. You can choose to turn it on or off. You can create new playlists and add videos to them from the edit panel here, or you can create new playlists if you add one that is if you're uploading a new video that is worthy of a playlist of its own, which I will do momentarily. So we'll go over that in just a sec. We'll put a pin in that. Channels is again going to allow you to look at the featured channels and subscriptions that you have. The discussion panel. This is where you can add a comment of your own or make a post or post links to things like that, whatever you would want to do here. And again, the about page. If we wanted to make edits here, you just hit that little pencil and update your bio in this section here. This is an important part to remember because much like anything else on this platform, for example, the bios that come out of Design Concierge are written specifically to keep things like keywords in mind, because we know that those bios are all happening online. And how search engine optimization works is essentially what are called web crawlers, are software that comes out of search engines, whether it's Google or Yahoo or Bing or whatever your search engine is. Those web crawlers will scan websites for keywords related to the consumer's search and then populate results that best fit that. The larger your online footprint is and the more consistent it is populated with content, and the descriptions of said content are, full of keywords that again are consistent across all these platforms, that's how you raise your rankings in the search engine optimization organically over time by mass producing content over, steadily over a calendar period. That's a whole big discussion though for another day. But again, just you want to keep in mind it is important to have this kind of information ready to go as your channel launches. Again, bio gets edited there. When it's there, you hit done. Business inquiries. This is where you add your email. Location, obviously where you're located. Links. This works if you've added stuff to the InTouch websites, for example, very similar. All the text that is going right here is the text that you would see when you hover over any of these platforms. So Instagram says Instagram, website says website, LinkedIn says LinkedIn, because that's what I wrote down here. And these are the links I added. You can add up to 5 links to your channel. Again, do not link to things that you do not regularly update. It is important to be consistent with this information, just like when you're cross-referencing and linking with other channels, or following and getting followed back by another channel or another business on Instagram. It's building a larger network. You need to make sure your network is connected with everything else that you manage in your network to, again, increase your footprint as a whole. So make sure everything here is top-notch, up to date, good to go. Once that is all set and everything's managed, let's go ahead and talk about uploading content. One of the easiest things for agents to do as far as getting something uploaded and managed on a part of the channel that is valuable to consumers is anyone that buys a listing concierge package gets a YouTube video of that commercial that ran in your network. So let's go ahead and use one of my agents for an example, William Smith. I'm going to go into his listing concierge. So when you go from CB desk, got this listing concierge tile right here. When you click on it, we'll see all your fancy properties. Going to go right into the most recent order. Going to hit manage order because he's got a gold package on that. So I know there's a commercial here. As you can see, if you've got, I'm not going to go into listing concierge too much because again, different class. We've got everything that's completed here, check marked in green. Television and video. I'm going to click on that banner and it's going to take me, drum roll, to my YouTube video. And oh, there you go. Got to click on it. I'm going to click air date and YouTube video. I can see when it ran. And if I click on that link, it takes me right to the channel where I can see the video. Now you can choose to, I think your listing concierge coordinator can send you the actual file. If not, I will send you a link to what I'm going to do. The easy thing to do is we go ahead and I hit share. Do that one more time. Go down here. I hit share. Copy that link by hitting copy. And we go to what's called a YouTube downloader. It's a page that's going to let us rip this off of the Coldwell Banker channel and use it for your own purposes, because we want all of that good SEO and relevant content to be added to your page where all of the users, again, can all of this information can start to feed the internet and bring people back to your specific channels. As you can see, I dropped that link right in here. It's going to give me all of the versions, super low quality, the highest quality I can get is 720. That's fine. It's high quality. I'm going to hit download, and as you can see, it's going to prepare my file for download. Once that little green bar is complete, you can see a little download button. It is going to download into my downloads folder. It's right down here. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click show in folder. So it just makes it easy. So I'm going to go into my downloads here and I have it open. I can see it right here. So let's say I've got my YouTube channel set up now. Go ahead and close this. And I want to upload my own video to the page. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go back home and then look at my channel just like you were logging in. So you logged into YouTube, you're on the home page. You don't have to go anywhere special. As long as you're logged into the channel you want to have the video go to, you're going to click on this create icon, the little camera with a plus in it. And we're not going to go live. We're going to upload a video. And what you'll see here is a uploader, just like you do see on, anything that you use nowadays. Just like the photo drop earlier, if you've got the file, I can go ahead and just grab it, drag it, and drop it right in there, and it'll start the upload. Or I can click and do it the old-fashioned way by going into videos, going into my downloads where I know it is, clicking on the video, and uploading it. Blast off. There it goes. Video is going to start uploading. Here is where we can put in the title. I'm going to delete that because I just want it to be the address. The description we've already got. I'm going to go back into my listing concierge details and grab what we're using as the copy. Because why do our work, more than once? I'm going to drop that in there. And then just like any social media post, we're going to go ahead and make sure you link to website, link to Facebook, link to Instagram. Stay updated by following me and joining my mailing list, blah, 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 blah. You put your calls to action in the description to the video. This next section, so as you can see, we've got the description going in there. The video is uploading. You can already get the link to that video and copy it right here by clicking copy video link. That's already available. The thumbnail is going to be the thumbnail for the video. As you can see in my top right here, you can choose from somewhere in the system, or you can upload an image of your own. Again, leverage your brand, right? Like this is an opportunity to, again, if you have a logo or a brand name, any kind of image related to your brand, this is where it should be featured. This is where you should have a thumbnail created for specific kind of videos. Again, if you've had a logo created out of Design Concierge, this is you want to make sure it's incorporated into all of this stuff. So you're using it to leverage the same kind of visual power that any other marketing organization does, just like Coldwell Banker with its consistency through its brand image. Playlists. So I've got my Coldwell Banker class playlist. This isn't a class though. I'm going to go new playlist and I'm going to add this video to listings that were on in my market, Fox 35 at home in Northern California. I'm going to make it public because obviously I want my consumers to be able to see it. And then all we have to do is hit create and bam, this video is on a new playlist. We just have to check it and turn it on, and it's that easy. I'm going to say no, the video is not made for kids. If you say yes, all that's going to do is turn on the YouTube's kid algorithms and drive the video towards kids, which does you no good because kids don't buy houses. Next, add an end screen. This is where you can do things. If you guys are following people and you watch channels on YouTube and they do those things, like if you, at the end of their videos or somewhere during their videos, they point, they go, you can watch last week's, virtual tour by clicking right here. And if you want to see how we made this video and get a behind the scenes tour, go ahead and click over here. And they have those annotated notes that they put in their videos. This is where that happens. You would click to add whatever you would like. Place it wherever you want in the video. And then, you can do your most recent video here. You can choose a specific video, do whatever you would like with these annotated endings. I'm gonna discard that because I don't want that. You can also promote other related content by just adding a card to a video. Add polls, you can link, you can do all kinds of things. Go ahead and cancel that because I'm not going to jump down that rabbit hole. Again, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, but you should constantly be thinking about with cross promotion. Oh no. All right. Once you're done with that, the last thing that pops up is, it's still in a draft. Okay, let's go back to edit draft. Awesome. I thought I lost that page. So once you're done with the elements, last thing is visibility. I want to make this video public, or you can set a schedule to have it premiere. And again, if we're building an audience, we can remind people, hey, if you missed At Home in Northern California, I'll be premiering the video on my YouTube channel on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Feel free to check it out there. It'll be on my Instagram and Facebook a little later in the week. Just again, to drive people to other channels, create call to actions that remind people that all these other things exist. I'm going to go ahead and just make this public, make it live right now. Again, unlisted videos are going to be anybody that has this link will be able to see it, but it won't show up on your channel. Private is, like it sounds, only you, the channel owner, can see it. Once you hit publish, everything is set and it will take you to the channel video section. Obviously, you can do a quick share or grab the video link. I'm going to go ahead and close that so we can get to the editor. This is the YouTube dashboard. This is where you will find everything on your channel and be able to review its status. Obviously, I have some unlisted. I've got some public. This video I just uploaded is public. Default is by upload date. Your most recent is going to be on top. Your oldest videos are going to be on the bottom. And much like an Excel spreadsheet, you can see the headers and what they relate to. You can select all the videos by hitting that check mark if you want to group things into playlists or delete things in mass quantities or make bulk updates. You can do that, or select individual videos like that. You've got visibility that you can edit from right here. Any restrictions that happen, for example, I have a video that has some music in it. There is a copyright claim for that music. Not enough to get the video taken down because I'm only featuring it for a few seconds in the background while I am talking. However, it is enough to disable my page from being or that specific video from being monetized. I'm not really going to go into monetization. There isn't a lot of money to be made in YouTube, even for the people that do it full time. So I'm not going to recommend you guys make this a full-time job. It's just another advertising source as a part of your larger marketing scheme. So we're not really getting into that. And then some quick stats are available here. Views, comments, likes versus dislikes, all available right here. As you can see, when I'm hovering over videos, their name and description disappears in exchange for a bunch of icons. Edit. It's going to take you back to the details, that little pencil, where you can do all of that fun stuff we were doing from before, as well as add tags to the video. Luxury, real estate, Oldwell Banker, all those good things that you need to add here, that when we talk about, search engine optimization and then making things part of that larger web. A little bit of homework, a little bit of effort here goes a long way for each of those videos. I am going to undo those because I'm not going to make any changes here. And we're going to go back to the channel videos. Next thing, analytics. This is going to be analytics for that specific video. So let's go to something with some, so you can kind of see what that looks like. And what you have here are, if that video netted you any subscribers, what was the watch time for the videos, how many views did you get, what's the audience retention, meaning I got, out of my 22-minute video, 24% watched about 5 minutes of it. Real-time activity, this is updated live as it says. You can see 75% of people have gotten views viewed this from other YouTube features, and then 25% of the last 4 in the last 48 hours got this video from being suggested in other videos. You can also do the last 60 minutes. I haven't had anybody in the last 60 minutes. You've got likes versus dislikes if you've got anything going on here. You can check audience reach, engagement, all of this stuff, just like any analytics source for any system that you're using, is valuable to you to make sure this stuff is relevant to the audience you're trying to serve it to. If nobody's watching it, you obviously need to make some changes. So again, this is just for that specific video. I'm going to go into greater analytics in a little bit. You can also view comments on your video. Again, let me look at one with one so you guys can kind of see what that's looking like. You can't, I haven't responded to anything. You can see any comments that, you've made in response to comments on that video. If you wanted to see any comments on the video, you would have to look at it, the video itself. And comments for any YouTube video are always right below the description. View on YouTube will allow you to go right to that video link for whatever specific one you are looking at. And as you can see underneath, comments, there aren't any comments. Options will allow you to, again, I'm going to go up here so it's a little bit easier to see. Edit the title and description for the video. You can get a shareable link. As you can see, link copied to the clipboard. So if I pasted immediately, that's the link to that video that I just copied. Also got promote, paid promotion that you can do through Google for your YouTube videos. Again, I'm not going to get into that. There's a ton of stuff you can do organically over time. If you put in the work over 6, 9, 12 months, you can really start to see good growth over your larger networks, just like you would any other channel without having to spend money. Download will allow you to save the video. If you've lost the original over time, you can re-grab anything that's on your YouTube page. And of course, delete forever. We'll delete the video forever. You gotta understand that you're doing it permanently. You have one last chance to download it, or boom, it'll blast off and go away. That's everything in the video side. Now, playlists, obviously, will allow you to edit the playlists. I just deleted the one video that was on my playlist, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit edit. And we're gonna click on these 3 dots right here and delete that playlist because there's nothing on it, so we don't need it to show up on my homepage anymore. We're going to go back to the YouTube studio. Analytics. This is going to give you channel analytics as a whole. This is going to, all of the micro data points we were looking at for an individual video can be viewed from this section, as well as I noted, this is the channel as a whole. So you've got the whole macro breakdown of how your channel's been performing over any given period that you want to set up. My channel's only been a thing for 28 days, so I can only go 28 days back as far as relevant data. Because if I go 90 days, it's still, 20 days, 28 days. Again, engagement audience, utilize this information to make sure that the audience you are creating the content for is seeing value in it, or that you're utilizing it in a way that is providing additional value to them. The analytics here are also a part of Google Analytics. So fun fact, if you have an InTouch account, you can group all of your analytic reports. So you can have, if you've got a Google Analytics account and a Facebook Pixel account, you can be getting all of your Instagram, Facebook business, and YouTube and Google business analytics all fed with the InTouch website analytics into a section there. I talk about that in my InTouch class. I'm sure, there's tons of resources where you guys can find where to group those analytics there, but that is a great place when you want to think about, again, where is the hub of your business? If InTouch is your CRM, that's where all of the analytics are reporting. So then I can look at everything as a whole, or then break it down specifically and see what I need to focus on in the next quarter or the next month, or, what has changed on my consumer side. And maybe they're now viewing a different source because of the changes in their lifestyle. YouTube and Instagram, for example, are seeing a huge spike because just people are on them more. Comments. Again, manage channel comments. I've got a video with a comment. You can see it there. I can react to it if I want to. I can, it says that the video recording was too small. I remembered that. That's why I made this zoom in a little larger, but it keeps resetting for some reason. Subtitles are important to think about. I talk about this a lot. The deaf community is one that is hugely under-marketed to. And YouTube does have, and by YouTube, I mean Google, does have a built-in automated subtitle system that works off of the audio. So if your diction is really good and you speak really clear and concise, it will work okay. It's not perfect, but it is something. There are other ways for you to add in subtitles or transcriptions for your videos. This is where you would add anything specific. So if I were going English, for example, make that the default. I have turned on now the automatic subtitles, which can be, like I said, auto-generated by the system. Community contributions will allow, let's say I have followers in Japan, and someone can create subtitles in Japanese. This will allow them to do that. You can also upload proper subtitles through a system if you wanted to do that into this channel as well. You can edit them on the Classic Studio, which will allow you to, again, if there's any mistakes, things like that, you can go in here and read this, make sure it's correct, edit, unpublish if they're not finished, if you need to go through it again, make all those changes, and then save it. This way, not only for the hearing impaired, they can get the same enjoyment and value out of your video, but even just people that are, maybe watching your video on the bus or something like that, and it's hard to hear. Subtitles are hugely valuable, huge asset. Always think about having them in your videos, as well as even hard coding them into them when you re-upload them onto things like Instagram and stuff like that for the same purpose. That way, anybody hearing impaired or is just in a spot where they can't listen to your video can still hear the main point you're trying to get across. Monetization, again, I'm not really going to talk about that. But the audio library, last thing I'm going to touch on, a bunch of free music that you can use for your videos and sound effects that you can use for your videos. All kinds of great stuff. There is a video editor in this system, a real basic video editor that I'm going to go into real quick here. So let's click this video, for example. So where would those sound effects come in handy, right? If you're looking at a video in that back end, like I was talking about before, I didn't glance on this side. Individual video analytics, obviously right there. The editor is this portion here, and it's what it sounds like. It's a real basic video editor. You can do your subtitles here. You can add comments. You can add images in. You can edit audio and add audio, add effects like blur and things like that. It's, you know, on par with any free video editing software. I think things like iMovie and I'm sure Movie Maker are probably a little bit more comprehensive. But again, if you're just getting started and just doing the basic things, adding title cards, adding branding, wanting to do, you know, things that are fun with it, this is where all of that little magic happens. You're working off a standard timeline. Video is on your top frame. You can adjust where you are by dragging that needle over. Audio is on the bottom. Your workspace is right up here. Settings, you can watch at a playback of certain speed if you're editing, you know, something specific. You can add different elements and, you know, anything that you need to blur if you do that. There isn't a whole ton you can do here. Again, things like iMovie, Movie Maker are going to be a lot more valuable in the grand scheme of things. But again, basics, this is where it is. Save your changes to have them saved. Discard if we don't care, like I do not about this. So I'm just going to close that out. And that is it. That is the basics on getting set up, kind of uploading a video and managing the, you know, the startings of your YouTube channel. Again, this needs to be something that is a thought out process and a larger part of your grand marketing scheme. And if you manage it properly, just like an Instagram or a Facebook, it can be a huge asset in retaining an audience and helping you build an audience for the future. So let's open up the floor to any questions. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat first, but feel free to unmute yourself and let me know if there's anything you'd like to ask. I'm going to go ahead. I froze, apparently. I think I remember when that happened. I did show up how to set up the page. Can you link your personal website to the YouTube channel? Yes. That is where in the About section when I was editing. So let me go ahead and share my screen again here. So I'm in the YouTube studio. I want to go back to my channel. Click on my little dude there. And we click on About, and I'm going to click Customize Channel. And like I said before, you know, your website should be your hub. It's definitely important you link your website. I click here. This is my actual web address. So like, you know, I have it open right here. So you just kind of copy that. And then when you're in the editor, let me close some of the rest of the stuff. When you're in the editor, I just, you know, I put website, paste that in there, done. And that's what the home icon is when you're viewing the page as a consumer. Bing, website. Now, if you had a brand account, like I said, mine is just my name. If you have a brand account, that is going to allow you to change the channel name to something different. And it's been a long day. I don't even know if I remember introducing myself at the beginning of this, but for those that don't know me, I hope you enjoyed the class. My name is Anuj. I am the field marketing specialist here in Santa Cruz in Monterey County. See what other questions there are. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Please identify the various accounts, maybe on a graph or a chart. So the only two types of accounts that you can have through Google are standard accounts or branded accounts. The branded account, as I said, is the one that will...
Sorry, didn't hear it. Didn't hear it. It's frozen. The audio is frozen.
allow you. Am I back?
Yes, yes, you're back now. Just got that there are only 2 accounts, standard and branded. After that, didn't hear an explanation if branded is divided into business and branded or not.
Hold on. I might be drifting again. Okay. Cool. So thank you, Suzanne, for letting me know, and thank you, Genevieve, for helping moderate all of that. Everyone in my area knows Genevieve. She's a fantastic SSA. So thanks for managing that. What I was saying is there's 2 types of accounts with Google: standard and branded accounts. Again, the only difference with the brand account is it's going to allow you to delegate access to that channel to other users, as well as allow you to control things like the channel name. And there is a slight difference in the way that the brand accounts are communicating algorithmically with YouTube on the back end in a similar way, though not as extreme as Instagram or Instagram or Facebook does for their business versus consumer accounts. But it's still important, again, because you can control things like the name of the account, and it will tie then with your Google Analytics a little bit cleaner to make sure that you are running that channel through a branded account. And again, in the recap, I will also include, you can create a new one, but also include in the advanced settings where you go to switch a standard YouTube account if you've already uploaded a couple of things to a YouTube channel and you just want to make the switch, how to do that in the advanced settings as well. It's just a couple of clicks and you'll be good to go.
Okay, and Anuj,
Yes.
I think I'm listening too slow. Is the business account you're suggesting a branch of the standard account, or is it in the branded account? In other words, where I'm confused is I'm hearing there's a standard account and a business account and a branded account. That's
No,
what I thought.
a business account is a brand account. In this case, like YouTube, or I should say Google, calls them brand accounts and not business accounts. But for all intents and purposes, it's the same interchangeable phrase. Facebook and Instagram use the term business accounts. Google uses the term brand account. And when you are creating a new account, like I showed earlier in the session, you can create a Gmail, or you can create a Gmail for your business. That is the brand account. And like I said earlier in the recap, if you've already got an account that you're managing a YouTube channel through, because again, this does not have to be client facing. None of the emails have to be managed and sent out through that portal as any means of communication. It's just the manager for the YouTube page. So you can create whatever you need there and have it forward to wherever you need to manage if you're getting, updates that you want to be notified about on a regular basis on your channel. But the branded email for this specific Gmail can either be created or just managed. And then if you have the brand account, the only other option is that you can give access to, if you've got a team or if you've got a marketing individual that's uploading videos for you, instead of having to give your email and password to someone else, you can designate access to another individual. Will I email today's workshop? Yes. Sorry, that's not the most recent question, or that wasn't the next question, but it's just the one my eyes saw. I will obviously email out a recording. Everything goes to my YouTube channel, so you can also get everything there as well. But I have a little one sheet that kind of is a part of my email recap that has visuals to go with a lot of what I talked about, because I know I talk pretty quick. What is the next one? If you already have a YouTube, like as I said, if you already got a business account that you're running and you just want to double check to make sure it is a branded account, the main difference, like the way you know out of the gate, is if you can change the name of the YouTube channel, you have a branded account. And then you also see a spot where you can delegate access and stuff like that. If not, in the recap, I will have the instructions and where in the settings to click and make that change. Can you change the color of my pointer? That is good feedback. I should do that. I actually don't know how much. This is a company computer, but if I can, I will. What dimensions would you recommend for the banner image of your YouTube channel? I have a guide that is a part of the recap. You will see it in there. That's also about the cursor. Again, I will look into that. There's some more stuff about me cutting out. How do you create the links for the social media channels you are working in the window for the description of the property? You would just copy and paste the links into the description. I'm a big fan too of using things like tinyURL or like Owly or things like that to shorten the URL, so you don't have to have like www.instagram.com/I'mLando in my case for my Instagram channel. And you could instead just have like tinyURL/IG, have that be the Instagram link. But all you would have to do is just post the actual link like you would share anywhere else next to the title, or if you type Instagram : and put the link there, and the links are dynamic, so they'll be clickable. How do you convert a personal account to a branded account? Again, I will include those instructions in the recap. It's super simple. Are there any other questions? Does anyone want to unmute and ask a question? Are there anything else I can help with in relation to the class, of course? On AOL account, is that YouTube video? Does that have YouTube video on AOL account? I assume the question is, can you have a YouTube under an AOL email? No, you have to have a Gmail. Google owns YouTube, so they make you sign up for their email to manage a YouTube page. It's like 90% of the reason why they bought them. That and they're a huge profit center. If there are no other questions, again, I will, as I've stated, be posting this recap, sending it out to everybody that